we've seen what is happening presently in the political landscape. We've seen that Delta State Governor recently, Sheriff, just recently, shift allegiance to the APC government. But the North now they've come out to say that it's as if Tinubu is trying to buy his way. That they know that Tinubu know that they will not vote for him. And what is going on? And the Fulanis are so upset. They said, I think it's high time Tinubu, we might break Nigeria. And what is going on now? The other governors are already preparing for this shift. What is your take as regards what is going on?
I think Tinubu is an expert in playing dark politics right from the beginning. He ever came to political limelight. I will must give it to him. If not that, we know the margin of which he won that election. I claim to have been won by P2B. The margin is very slim, and it came as a result of the pressure that came from the APC governors as at that time to persuade the former president Buhari to endorse Tinubu, because Buhari's body language was not to give it to Tinubu as it were as at that time. But the APC northern governors went on their knees and pleaded, and that was what actually happened. If not, I don't think we should be talking about Bola Ahmed Tinubu and his foreign policies currently now. But look at it from another perspective. There's a problem now between the president Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who is a southerner, and his vice president Shetima, who is a northerner. Now, if you look at it very well, the picture is that Shetima is being relegated by Tinubu Lagos forces in the Aso Rock, which has triggered that Shetima to begin to romance deeply with core northern political power players. He was the one that led Buhari from Daura to Kaduna, where Buhari is stationed now. There's a reason why Buhari is stationed in Kaduna, because the suspicion that APC bloc that form APC is definitely going to pull out at the end of the day. There's also so many other blocks that's within the APC, that's of northern bloc and an alliance and merger or coalition, whatever, that gave birth to APC. But Tinubu having assessed that clearly, and even though he was being brought by the northerners, the northerners have seen that the possibility of Tinubu dismantling the northern structure, sending a wrong signal to the middle belt against the core north, so the guy is playing a very dangerous dark politics at this point. So it becomes very clearly that the signs on the wall is signaling that Nigeria is going to enter an era of deep somersault, crashing as a nation, possibly, and the system is going to erupt. That will lead to that, possibly from north. You can see the intensity of killing, majorly in middle belt axis down to some part of the eastern part of the country. So looking at that, there might be an intelligence report, even though Tinubu has mandated the newvideo and the rest of them. He cannot be rest assured that those people are at his back to carry out, to make sure that this killing stops. It has been there always. But the main thing is that looking at the governor himself of Delta State, who has spearheaded mass defection, the gale of defection to APC and the power that be. Unfortunately, with that ideology, that the Nigerian politicians, that's what they are. Somebody that was a vice president or in the last election under Atiku was the one who is seen moving to APC. And there's another big man behind the scene who shared the same political space, and a colleague of the present president of Nigeria, talking about James Ibori, who structures was reactivated by immediately Tinubu came to power, because they were all former colleagues. The same politics Odzokal is trying to play in Abia State is what has triggered that. And the threat of corruption charges and here and there over this, because once you move to APC, your sins has been forgiven. So now, but the people themselves of Delta State are not in support of that movement. But Tinubu is playing politics of money. The governors have more allocations now than ever in any history of Nigeria's leadership under democratic setting, where the governors experienced huge amount of allocation. So with this threat, let me put it that way, or signal coming from the entire southern bloc that Tinubu has finally swallowed the southern bloc, and standing firm against the north. The north is already seeing this, that the possibility that if they reject Tinubu finally, that it might lead to breakup of Nigeria. And the signals are there. Some analysts have put it in that direction, because the rising, the uprising, the gang up from the north might result to violence or chaos against any southern interest within the political space, and that might engineer the final collapse of Nigeria. And the north are saying they are ready. If Nigeria can collapse, they are ready. After all,
are you sure they are ready? We wrote on ground. Are you sure the north?
Of course, you can see one of the special advisors to Tinubu, who served under Bhari, who just resigned from Tinubu's government. I think something Ahmed or whatever, who happens to be the secretary of Northern Forum Consultative Forum, who made it very clearly, that the North is going to decide on the direction that we want to go at the end of the day. But whatever happens, what if tomorrow we wake up, we see all the entire Northern governors of 19 states moving back to CPC? What will happen to APC? So that's why people are saying that the man is playing a very dangerous, dark politics, that that can lead to collision, and they can trigger political unrest in the country, because the North will say, we brought you and you are sending this kind of message signal to the entire North. And remember also that Tinubu might likely have his way at the end of the day, because it is clear that Atiku is having an ambition, and the power cannot return back to the North. That's the truth. There's no how to go back to the South. It is.
But the North are insisting that they want to come back to power. What do you think will happen?
They're not coming back to power. Does not justify or the rationale behind justice, one Nigeria, the way it's supposed to be, because we just had 8 years of Buhari, uninterrupted. So the balance is that the South should also enjoy whatever. But since they left power, you can see the kind of condemnation that is coming, even from Buhari's men who just left office, and saying that the globalization agenda has already taken place in Aso Rock. The lopsided appointment, they have flooded Yorubas every corner, and at the same time now, the only PDP region, is moving massively to APC, signaling that the old PDP is in the hands of Wike, while the new PDP that was saw under former Senate President Bukola Saraki is in the hands of Atiku Abubakar. So how are they going to balance that? I made it very clearly that competing ambition will lead to maximum disintegration of political parties in Nigeria, and that maximum disintegration will also echo the prophetic words of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu of how Nigeria is going to possibly break up. And already people have already seen Bola Ahmed Tinubu as the last president of Nigeria as it stands today. So the way it is, like what Gani Adams is saying, the major players now, I pray it didn't get to the side of Abia State, where Alex Oti is the governor of that state. But I can tell you, most of these governors we are seeing now, I tell you, go and check their source. Most of them are being installed there by the Fulanis. Among the 19 states in the north, currently now, there's no Hausa man that is a governor. All of them are Fulanis. And the Fulanis are just 16 million people in the north there as their region, while the Hausas themselves are about 66 million. You can see the difference, So, and the north is also capitalizing on their voting strength. With small alliance in the south can remove Tinubu from office at the end of the day. That's just the truth. So whatever dangerous angle he's taking, we saw the governor of Akwa Ibom talking about definitely there's no going back. We are going to see Peter Mba of Enugu State, the worst governor, if I might say, in terms of not being bold enough. We are not seeing that boldness in him to challenge the Fulani killing in Enugu State. Unfortunately, that's what it is. And some other governors too, but I do not see the only governor that I'm seeing there that might likely stand his ground, irrespective of whatever happens, is the governor of Bayelsa State. And of course, Alex Oti will not be alone at that range. So the North is also looking at this thing. For me, I felt that it should have been an underground work, prepared, waiting for the right time to manifest. But it's too early to start threatening the North and showing signal of what it intends to do ahead of 2027 election. I'm talking about Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
Okay, but do you not think from the as regards the southern governors defecting to APC, do you not think they are doing for their selfish interest?
Oh, of course, I told you there's a reason why they are having more allocations now than any other administration in the history of Nigeria. Governors are happy because Tinubu put more money on the table for them than any other administration. So they have it. So they want to enjoy more. They want to have more. But it's a trap. Bola Ahmed Tinubu has set for them, that might trigger a one-party system in Nigeria that might be a threat to democracy, and that is where the breakup is going to come at the end of the day, because the North will see it as as a loss of principles, as a loss of agreement, as a sign, as a signal to them, as a slap to the North themselves, to begin to think towards the direction of, it has gone to the point that the president's body language is signaling that a breakup of the entity called Nigeria. So apart from their selfish interest, of course, that's what it has been always when you talk about Nigerian politics. There's no Nigerian politics that has not been in that direction. But that the Igbo political culture, as it is now, that's built around the old eastern region, is being infiltrated by this thing in another angle. So what we are seeing is another direction of the Fulanization by Bola Ahmed Tinubu, because by the time the Fulanis are able to put together all the governors they installed there, of course they will flood in Fulani machineries in the entire old eastern region, and the killing will continue. Unfortunately, these are the things they are not seeing. These are the things they are not able to understand, that for them to be caged by, because you do not know the certain agreement and the certain politics they are playing behind the curtain that made them to produce Muslim ticket, and has seen that the issue of Fulanis in the south has not stopped. You can see what Gani Adams said, that I don't know why these governors have not been able to stand up against these Fulanis up to this moment, signaling that the structure of leadership can only be given to those who are loyal to the Fulani agenda, who are loyal to the Islamization, because you'll be told on what to do, you'll be told on what to achieve, you'll be told as a governor the direction, because without you agreeing, no deal. And when the time calls for you, you expect to abide by the agreement. If not, they will just instigate one EFCC matter, and you are gone, and you are removed. Look at what is happening. Look at how they are able to tell Fubara of River State to the point account they are remitting their money, and it happened that account actually belongs to Bola Ahmed Tinubu, according to the report we are seeing so far. So that's why the CIA always came every now and then and say that Tinubu is still their asset. So they are looking at that direction very well, and the plan to get the British government to lobby US government over that issue collapsed, because Keir Starmer could not know where to stand and to defend Bola Ahmed Tinubu on that area. And you can see the British and the Fulanis in Nigeria have this common understanding when it comes to British maintaining their influence in Nigeria. They will always want to use the Fulani. So that's where the crack is coming. So it looks like that it is a retaliation time, and we are not going to use gun or whatever, and we are not going to put you on the battlefield as you may think. We are also already targeting the Senate, but this one, I tell you that immediately Donald Trump announces now the drug file of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, do you know what the North intend doing? That is going to be massive. In fact, the whole 66 million Northerners are going to, resume work in Abuja Sorog on daily basis until Tinubu goes. If he fails to go, if he was being reported to have been indicted by drug activities in the United States of America, Chicago precisely. And it's a very big one. It's a very big shame that Nigerian government president, was a former drug dealer in the United States of America, peddling drugs that kill, that the American government said they do not want to engage in it. So he will try for persecution. They can decide to invade him anytime. They can decide to invite him, and once they invite him, and I think that is the angle Shettima have come to understand, because I tell them Shettima has some classified informations, about Tinubu at this moment, and Tinubu is afraid. And the only thing that Tinubu can run to is the entire South. Please help me. Help me. They are coming. They are coming. They are coming. Because I told you the friction is going to be between. It started from Tinubu and Shettima, who they are not too compatible in office, and a lot of things is separating them. One of the things that is separating them is the appointment and interest, and which Bola Ahmed Tinubu shut him down completely and Yorubalized everywhere. So from there, he was invited by Buhari, and Buhari told them, "I told you people. Unfortunately, you didn't see what I'm saying. But the next option is going to be Igbo. They see Igbo, are still putting question mark in the relationship that is going to involve Yorubas and Hausa at the end of the day. But at the moment now, top Fulani political players, major players, are already in Saudi Arabia, in the Arab world, using their links to make sure that the drug file is being opened as a threat to Bola Ahmed Tinubu ambition 2027 to collapse."
But do you not think, from the inception of this country, since democracy, we've seen that the people that are majorly ruling Nigeria are the Yorubas and the Fulanis. But do you not think that right now the Yorubas will feel betrayed by this move from the Fulanis?
Yes, it has always been there, but somewhere along the line, I pray this one will not trigger to a point, they will not be able to agree again, because if they are not able to agree now, they will want to seek alliance with the Igbo people, and the Igbo people are already saying bye-bye to them. So from there, that's why a lot of people are saying that if they champion that uprising from the north over using Tinubu's the drug case to launder America to declare him, a criminal. I wouldn't say he's a criminal anyway, to declare him a person, a drug dealer. You know what it means? That means it will trigger a lot of things. Government can come to a halt, and it might signal be a very big problem that the North can rise, capitalizing on that they don't want president who is a drug dealer. You should go and answer his question. But if the FBI can tender that case, so he said, and the funniest thing is that the one that Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the FBI director that Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has been removed. Another person brought in. Tinubu does not have connection with this one. You understand? And the thing is that when they start dragging him now, it's going to affect Remi too, because Remi too was also mentioned in that case. So as people who tendered whatever account, and you can see some of the account details are still there in United States of America, with evidence tracing to as being reported that Bola Ahmed Tinubu was actually involved in drug peddling.
But do you not think, if he's truly indicted, do you not think this is a global disgrace? And at the same time, do you not think other hooligans will abstain or move away or stop doing business with Nigeria based on when the #1 citizen of a country has been indicted in drug activity?
So many countries are already running away from Bola Ahmed Tinubu. You understand? He's only trying to see how he can use Macron. I think Macron was his last option, when everything started collapsing. But unfortunately, he wondered why Macron should have treated him the way he treated him the last time he went to France. As he's entering France, Macron is running away from France, and Macron was not able to see him. And when he said and felt embarrassed, he moved to London. You understand? But unfortunately, the same thing happened to him. So the reports from FBI have gone around all over the world. That any moment from now, we are going to announce his drug case. There's one man we know in Nigeria who happens to be the president. He has a record, and there's evidence, against him. So once he's flying there, once in any country there, the fellow colleagues will see him and say, please search him very well. Maybe he has something inside his pocket. He was a drug lord. drug baron. That kind of a thing. It's a very big image for Nigeria, because out of 250 million, the only person we can bring out is a former drug lord. It does not make put our image, and maybe that's the reason why Nigeria is facing, cancellation of bilateral and multilateral relationship with several countries. We are a bit active under Jonathan, but when APC government came in, everything, take another direction, another, to the surprise of many, and of course, you can see it has already been won. Please don't come close that to Donald Trump, because understand, Donald Trump will not hesitate to, do the damage at the end of the day. But it's a big lesson to the Southwest Yorubas at this point. If the North, the Fulanis will rise up against them, it will be a very big lesson to them. We cannot put Igbos on the table now to feast on them, because if you do that, that will absolutely injustice, because we know what is actually happening and why the Igbo political machine, has been steaming in another direction. It's steaming, but it's steaming in another direction. You understand? A lot of people might not hear the sound. You understand? The kind of politics they play, you understand? The Igbos does not play that kind of politics. At the end of the day, the victimization, no, we don't do that. The Igbos don't do that anyway. But the North, who could not understand that there's a difference between religion and politics. Their own politics is based on religion. But in the southern part of the country here, they are trying to bring that culture of religion into politics in the southern part of the country. And we are not seeing any resistance to that. We are not seeing the South resisting that, especially when they bring people who share the same ideology in terms of religion to govern the entire southern region. You can see what is happening. Look at governors bowing down to Sultan of Sokoto from the eastern part of the country. Look at Wike. Look at even they want to introduce Baba Sope type of politics. You understand? You can see where the thing is. You can see where the thing is heading to, and these governors cannot speak up if their people are being killed by the Fulanis. They cannot talk.